got drafted in 1969. Actually was drafted in 67, but broke my leg and had to be reclassified, so they redrafted me in 69. I went to Vietnam. I was assigned to a 8-inch 175 battalion, 7th Battalion, 8th Artillery. The bullets for the 8-inch weighed 204 pounds. The range was 14 miles, the 175. The bullets there weighed about 180 pounds, and the range of that 175 was 22 miles. So a lot of the North Vietnamese wanted to try to knock out the heavy artillery, but I came in, went to Black Horse, a base where they trained the ARVN soldiers, and I stayed there. Then I got a chance to go into a place called Bien Hoa. And the good thing about going back into the rear is you get a chance to try a real meal, for example, instead of eating C rations. I went there. I had no name tag, no U.S. Army, just a raggedy pair of fatigues with red mud. He said, "Come on in." He said, "I'm going to take care of you." He fed me the finest steak I ever ate in Vietnam when I was over there. That was as close to home as you could get being in a foreign country when you see one of your Lumbee Indians wanted to take care of you the same way it is today here in Robeson County. Our tribe and our Lumbee people and our veteran organizations taking care of veterans. It made me feel like home because I was greeted with a handshake and someone said, "I'm so happy to see you, my friend." Because my daddy, Brother Oxendine, was real good friends. And so we ate and sat down and talked. And the other event I had was in Vietnam that was positive was Art Schul. I was able to visit him and had a chance to see how the people lived out on MacV with swimming pools and stuff like that. So it was very interesting. And then I went back to my camp, and then we got moved out to the South China Sea. And the South China Sea is where General Bond, the first Brigadier General, was killed in the Vietnam War. We were involved in that, Fire Support Base Mace. We left there after the general was killed and about 22 other servicemen. We left there and went up to the South China Sea, and we stayed there about 2 weeks fighting the North Vietnamese. We came in, the 199th Infantry Brigade was surrounded. We came in with our 8-inch guns. We fired all night long, and out of over 25 service members, only 4 of them came back alive. And so we stayed there, and then we got orders to move out and go back and build a fire support base to name it after General Bond. So we moved out and moved back to fire support base. We named it Fire Support Base Bond. We stayed there fighting the North Vietnamese. We moved in that night, firing direct fire with 1.0 deuces and our 8-inch, because we could not fire a direct fire with the 175 unless we soaked the powder in diesel fuel and shoot it out that way. But we stayed there for about maybe a month, and then we got orders from President Nixon to move into Cambodia. We left there, March ordered to Tay Ninh. We stayed at Tay Ninh, pulled maintenance on our equipment. We moved out into Cambodia. We moved into Cambodia firing our guns, and we stayed in Cambodia probably for a little over a month, and then moved back into a place and continued to fire inside of Cambodia, and we stayed there until I was able to leave and come back home. I was excited about coming home, but they was protesting the war. We get off the Travis Air Force Base, get changed into our dress greens, and people calling names of veterans, calling baby killers, spitting on us. So it was not a good homecoming. And coming home around December, still shell-shocked and fireworks going off, and I'm jumping on the ground and people looking at me like I was crazy. But that was part of life until I got adjusted. But I thank God for organizations that come in to try to help veterans that was going through that adjustment period. I had 8 months left in the Army because if I'd extended in Vietnam, I could have got an early out. But because of Cambodia and other experiences, I said, if I live through that, I will not extend. So I had 8 months left. They sent me to Germany. And I went to Germany with the 3rd Infantry Division, same division that Alden Murphy served in. I enjoyed Germany. And I had about 10 days left in the Army. And I decided, what would I do if I come back to Robeson County? And I called my dad and said, look, what do you advise me to do? And he said, if you make your bed hard, you got to lay in it. So the choice is yours. So I went and talked to the recruiter. He and I laid out a plan, and he said, I told him to give me 6 years. So from that point on, I re-enlisted every 6 years for 24 years and days. And I left after I re-enlisted in Germany. I came back to Fort Bragg. Stayed at Fort Bragg 1 year, jumped school, Fort Bragg. Then they needed drill sergeants, so they sent me to Fort Dix, New Jersey. I stayed as a drill sergeant at Fort Dix, New Jersey. After I left Fort Dix, I had an assignment to Korea and knowed some people, and I made some phone calls, and they got me reassigned to Schofield Barracks 25th Infantry Division in the Field Artillery Battalion. I stayed there in the Field Artillery Battalion. Then I was selected to go to the NCO Academy as an instructor for Field Artillery School. And then after there for about a year, then I was nominated to take over as the director for the Academy for a year until I departed. Came back to Fort Carson, Colorado, and I stayed there in Canyon City as my assignment as a full-time manning for the Colorado National Guard. Then finally I came home to a place called Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I jumped out of perfectly good airplanes for 10 years, and I'm still able to walk. I'm just glad to be home. And I'm a member of the VFW, lifetime member, chaplain, assistant chaplain. I'm the head warrior of the Lumbee Warriors Association, lifetime member of DAV, and my mission is to spread the gospel and to help veterans any way I can.